My Love of Life Energy is a podcast created by Anna Scott. Anna knows that every human being sees life uniquely. In this podcast, she will talk to people and learn from them. These conversations are to shine the brilliance of each human being she speaks to. Join her. After each exploration, you will expand on your insights and see truth and beauty.
Welcome. This is Anna Scott, and welcome to My Love of Life Energy. And today, I really have a great honor of interviewing Adey-Jones, and I don't know her, but she's one of these women. We were paired we were in a class together, and you know when you see somebody in a room, but we weren't in the room, we were on Zoom, and you're like, who is this person? Who is this person? And I never got paired with her, never got to know her. So after the class ended, I'm like, I want to know you. And today, that's what this is about. Del is, I don't know you well, but like what you represent and what you see, just, it's like a magnet. I want to know. So welcome.
I love that introduction. That's great.
Yeah, that's where, it's not the words, but the energy speak louder than the words. Mm-hmm. You have that.
Oh, that's so sweet. I love that. Well, you do too, because we were just talking and I was just saying I felt the same. It was like, I want to be paired with Anna. What's happening? Why am I not being paired with Anna? But I'm so glad we're doing this. This is so lovely. Thank you for asking me here.
You're welcome. So I know that you are a therapist, but you've done so many things, but this is the little I know about you. You're really specializing in codependency and narcissism, correct?
Yes, but I'm not a therapist.
But a coach.
Yeah, I'm a coach.
But you had a big insight. You worked with the Pranskys. And so what do you want to share about that? I would love to know what you see.
Wow, what I see. Gosh. That's an interesting one because I think, well, let me rewind a little bit. Growing up, I had always believed the thoughts in my head. And my thoughts in my head were, horrible. They were always like, you're not good enough, you're too fat, you're too stupid, you're too ugly, you're too this, you're too that, everything that I wasn't. And I spent 40 years on a spiritual path and 30 years in therapy trying to change the thoughts in my head. Because I thought once I changed them, I would have a different experience of life. And I think the big insight that I got with when I was working with the Pranskys was, I remember it well, I was sitting in Linda's and George's guest house overlooking this gorgeous Puget Sound. And I remember sharing with Linda some of my insecure thoughts. And as only Linda has that really sort of funny, quizzical look on her face. And she was like, why are you listening to them? Why are you telling me about them, no less? And I was like, well, why wouldn't I? This is what I deal with daily. And she was just incredulous. And she was like, but they're nonsense. They're just talking gibberish. Why would you even listen to them? And I really, in that moment, really sort of saw that you didn't have to believe your thinking. I spent like almost 60 years believing my thinking. I mean, I think this is about 3-4 years ago. So I'm 62 now. So yeah, up to my late 50s, I was still believing the thoughts in my head. So that was, I would say, one of the biggest insights I had.
I just have to pause because I can feel that you really see the truth of that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. 100%. Because my life changed dramatically. It was a journey. It wasn't instantaneous. I call it that I changed my relationship with my thinking, not my thinking. And that relationship took a while to morph into what it is today.
Okay, I'm sorry, but I have never heard that before. And that's, excuse the expression, but that's effing brilliant. So can you speak to how you, what's your the different relationship in your thinking?
Well, it's almost like if an insecure thoughts come in my mind, which they do, we're human, we're going to have them. Instead of like hook, line, and sinker believing them and saying, oh gosh, they're just telling me about me and what I'm capable of and not capable of and all of that stuff. I have such a distance. I'm like, oh, you visiting again. All right. Don't have to pay attention to you. Don't have to, wrestle with you. I don't have to try and move you on. You're just visiting. And if I don't pay you much attention, you're just going to move on.
Del, you're saying something I have never heard before, and it's revolutionary. I mean, I'm having an oh my God, but changing your relationship with the thinking.
Mm-hmm.
It's not changing the thinking, but sorry, I'm just oh my God moment.
You're having what I had. I'll have what she's having.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So it sounds like instead of just being in there and like trying to fix it, like what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
And so what did you notice afterwards? Like what happened to life after, or gradually when the relationship changed?
Well, I mean, before I saw that, I was an absolute prisoner to my thinking, 100%. I was shy, I was insecure, I was self-conscious, I had low self-esteem, I was hiding, I was a people pleaser, I was all of these things. All my behaviors were based on these insecure thoughts that had camped in my head for so many years. I didn't even, like I said, I never questioned them. I 100%, they are telling me who I am. They're reminding me so that I don't get too big for my boots. And I remember that I am not good enough. So that way I'll be safe. If I play small, I'll be not even play small. If I remind myself how small I am, I will be safe. So I showed up in that way up until I first came across the principles, which was now 12 years ago. But even though I saw something 12 years ago, it was really, as I say, it was probably, I was working on this, but I was hearing that it's just your thinking, you're feeling your thinking. But I really, really didn't know that I didn't have to take it seriously at all. It was just noise. And that, as I said, that's what I really got from working with, and it was just that one moment. And it wasn't like we worked on it. It was just the look of absolute, as I say, this sort of quizzical, incredulous look that Linda gave me that just sort of snapped something in me. And I was like, wow, am I that crazy listening to my thinking?
You mean I don't have to do this?
Yeah, I was like, okay. But, yeah.
Wow. I mean, I know I had the same thinking, like growing up, not good enough, not smart enough, not pretty, like all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's it like to feel not taped to it or not Velcroed to it now?
Well, I think the word that came into my head was the proof is in the pudding. It's like my life is so expansive now since I stopped or since I realized that I just didn't have to believe this. And I just started like showing up differently. And if that insecure thought came in, I would just be like, no, it's okay. You can move aside. It's fine. I'm going to be doing this anyway. You can pop in, you can show up if you want, but I'm doing this because I know that you don't speak truth and I don't have to believe you. So I'm going to, as much as it was a little shaky at first, because it's like a toddler trying to walk, sort of didn't feel completely familiar to me. I just thought, I'm just going to see what happens.
Oh, wow.
And as I say, the proof is in the pudding. I how bad I was. I would read a Facebook post and see something written. I couldn't even comment in the comments because that would be revealing too much about myself to even have it. And for me, something about writing, having something, there's one thing saying something. I think I said to you earlier before we came on, I said, I often saw myself as a flasher, an emotional flasher. You know, the raincoat would open and I'd expose myself and then I'd close it quickly and run away. Well, with writing, it was like a little too permanent. That raincoat was left open.
Wow. That's so good.
I know. So I actually, so now I not only comment on people's Facebook posts, I put a blog out. I am writing a book. We are going to be co-authors in a book. The freedom in that, that is so different from how I used to, live my life.
Oh my gosh.
And interviewing through my podcast, again, could never be seen or heard. That's how I lived my life before.
Oh my God. I would suspect the people who sit down with you must feel so liberated because you've seen it so clearly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. And this is the thing is like, talk about the energy, because the words, it's not the words. I can see that you see it and I can feel it. I can feel the freedom in it. And and that's what allows other people to see it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's, yeah, exactly. Because it was going back to Linda. It wasn't something Linda was saying. It was I could feel what she was feeling, which was that I was crazy for listening to my thinking.
I gotta tell you, it's impacted. I don't listen to my thinking, but from your point of view and what you're saying, I can see it so clearly. It's crazy. It's insanity to listen to it.
Yeah.
Like it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And so can you tell me, because I'm really curious, how did that help you? Because you've been really interested in looking at codependency and narcissism and really helping people with that. Mm-hmm. And how is this or whatever you want to say helped you with that? Because I'm curious, I can't see it yet, but I'd love to see it. Yeah. What you see in that.
Well, sometimes I think I always say to people, I'm on the fringes of the 3P community. I'm sort of, because a lot of when I first, like I said, I grew up in a narcissistic environment. I was severely codependent, lived my life that way with all the limitations, very shame-based, terrible low self-esteem, very defensive, took everything personally. I was living that way. And attracted to narcissistic personality types because I always thought, they seemed to be strong and powerful, and I felt so weak and pathetic that I was like, oh, you complete me. I'm attracted to you. I'll be the sweet, sensitive side. You can be the strong, powerful sort of one that goes out in the world and, whatever they do. sort of. And so, as I said, I'd been in therapy for years, and I understood a lot of where my thinking was coming from, but I didn't know how to stop the behavior to a degree. Therapy took me from really being suicidal, to be honest, to pretty highly functioning, but I wouldn't say I was really joyful and happy and living my life to the fullest. And when I came across the principles, I saw something that about the nature of thought. Not as much as I saw it, as I say, when I was with Linda, but it's really, I always said it's like it showed me the way out. It showed me the way out of this sort of circular behavior that I was stuck in. And I used to coach people in this because I knew how to have them come in my office. They felt seen and heard and understood. They could make sense of their childhood, why they may have developed some of these coping mechanisms. And then when I came across the principles, I sort of left that aside for a minute. And I thought, there are no such things as personality disorders, and psychology is, over there, that only deals with your past. And then I got to a point where I was like, oh my God, I've thrown the baby out with the bathwater here, because it was the principles that absolutely helped me so much, really gain the freedom. So I started to look at that again, and I value therapy. I really do. I think it's fascinating. I think it's fascinating to know, we all know we're spiritual beings having a human experience, but in the world of form, we have psychology and we have
Right.
patterns of behavior. So I always preface my work by saying I'm not labeling or diagnosing anybody. I'm just using as a shorthand to describe a set of behaviors that somebody is stuck in. The other thing that I love about the work that I do is that a lot of the old paradigm of narcissistic abuse and codependency, that the codependent's the good guy and the narcissist is the bad guy. And what I help people see is it's not good or bad. These are just behaviors somebody is maybe stuck in. And if you can help them see something differently, they can break free of that pattern of behavior. And I always even say to people, even if you've been in and this is the other one I find a little hard in the 3P community sometimes. It's like if you've got a broken arm and a black eye, then, it's like, oh yeah, you've been abused. Somebody has attacked you. But with codependency, and especially in a narcissistic relationship, sometimes the wounds aren't visible. And they are psychological wounds and emotional wounds. And I really sort of want to acknowledge that. I'm not going to dismiss that as that's just your thinking. And, you can have a relationship with anybody. I love George dearly, but in his relationship handbook, he does say you can have a relationship with anybody. Well, there are some people that are, unfortunately, sort of, they don't see who they are at their essence, and they live in this thought created little bubble where they believe they have to dominate, control, manipulate, lie, intimidate their way through life, which is a very sad place to come from. But I wouldn't say that's the healthiest person to be in a relationship. We can have compassion, but we just maybe shouldn't be in that relationship trying to change them or trying to be their teacher or their, guru or whatever it is. It's like you can actually stand over here with compassion and love, but have a sense of self that you deserve to be treated with respect and not to be abused and manipulated and controlled. So
I just feel, the thing that I feel as you're talking is you're holding it all in love.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like the both people who are involved.
Absolutely. And both manifestations of however they look very different. One is like has zero entitlement, and the other one is an abundance of entitlement. One has, a lot of empathy. They often refer to themselves as empaths, whereas the other one, being a narcissist, it's actually one of the signs is that they lack empathy. But the thing is, at the core, there's still this pain, this disconnect from who they truly are at their essence.
Oh, Del.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm seeing is that it's the same issue.
Absolutely. Just manifest differently. It's the same issue.
I knew I was going to love you. I mean, because what it seems to me, what you're doing is you're reminding people who they really are.
Absolutely. That is the foundation.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. That's my crack now. like, do you know who you really are?
Yeah. Oh God, that's it. I mean, that's all we're doing is reminding people who they are. 100%.
Yeah. I saw that. What I just saw recently is that once people know who they really are, it kind of takes care of all the problems.
Mm-hmm.
And I just hadn't seen it so clearly until you just pointed this example out.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's the same issue. They don't know who they are. They just are believing they're thinking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, we talked about not having specialties, but I see the power of your specialty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do too. And that's why I say I struggled at first, because I remember George saying to me, oh, you don't need a specialty. You can teach this to anybody. All we're doing is telling people how the system works, how, the system behind how we experience life. And I totally agree. We are absolutely, we can teach anybody, we can show anybody exactly what you just said, who they are at their essence, who they really, really are. I just know that there are people that are suffering, that you need to meet them where they're at. You need to speak the language they understand. And then you can reveal, or not reveal, you're not really revealing anything. You can help them find their way home to who they really are. But by speaking in terms of psychological terms like codependency and narcissistic abuse, which is millions of people out there suffer from this, and they see no way out. They feel completely trapped. They think, and even worse, the ones that get me the worst are the ones that are just isolated and swear off ever being in a relationship again because it's just too painful. That breaks my heart, because we are made of love. All we are is love, and we are meant to share that love.
Oh, Del. Oh, wow. I getting teary because I can feel your passion and how much you care. And, there was a guy by the name of Dr. Randall Stone. He said, if you heal yourself, you can heal others. And I'm guessing is that you've healed yourself in this.
Yeah.
Like you've seen something so different that it's allowed you to be in relationships.
Oh, absolutely. I'm in the most beautiful, I have been for the last 11 years, beautiful, incredible relationship that I don't think I could have been in if I hadn't come across the principles. I was limping along. I hadn't given up hope. I wasn't quite the sworn off relationships for the rest of my life, but I was showing up as sort of this wounded warrior, like band-aids and crutches, and I was not a very it's a healthy person, put it that way. And now I absolutely know how to be in not only, but more importantly, the relationship with myself. I mean, that's the foundational relationship. I was selling myself short. I just didn't know who I was. Like you said, I didn't know who I was. And I think I shared once with you before, I certainly growing up, I had no idea that I was made of love. So I was constantly seeking it from the outside in, constantly. And because of having a father that had abandoned me, I always say I wanted a redo. It's like, I'm going to choose exactly what what my father was, and I'm going to meet a man like that. And this time I'm going to win him over. And so I kept going after unavailable, either emotionally or however, unavailable partners to be in a relationship with. And when I began to see, so much about who I really was, I didn't have to change. I didn't have to do anything. That's the best thing about this. I didn't have to work on myself anymore.
Oh God. But you said something that I want to highlight that's brilliant. And I don't know if you said we're made of love and love is meant to be shared.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that I've ever heard that. And I just feel the truth of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's not that we're going to be in a relationship to get the love. It's just to share the love.
Yeah.
And that's what seems different.
Yeah. And I'll tell you where I really saw that was my youngest son. I have two beautiful sons. It's my youngest son once said to me, not so long ago, a few years ago, but he kept saying to me, or he said to me rather, why are you so loving? And I thought about it for a minute, and I thought, I don't know. It's just in me, and it just keeps pouring out, and it's going somewhere. So it just wants to pour out. And I really saw that. It's like, yeah, I am made of love. And it's not static, it's pouring out of me. So yeah, I'm sharing it, whether I like it or not.
Well, it's like the image that I just had with you, Del. It's like a geyser that just keeps on going off.
Exactly.
Here she goes, ready to blow again. Oh my God. We're coming to our end, and I can't even tell you. I knew I was right. You are unbelievable. What a gift you are to the people and to life, to the people who you serve. I just feel so grateful that I've gotten this chance to be with you. And it will be stuff will be on the blog or the website, wherever, how this is ever put out there. But where can people find you? Because I know that there are people who are going to want to find you, people who need you.
Well, thank you. We're both, I'm getting teary-eyed now. Thank you so much. That was so beautiful of you to say, and to invite me to have this conversation with you. And I truly feel the same. So it was meant to be. So I can be found at Adey-Jones.com. That's my website, and everything's on there. My blogs, my interviews, my insightful conversations, and you can find me there. And I'd love to. I've got this image of myself as this geyser of love now. I'm going to spew my love all over you. No.
It's true.
But just to have a conversation, and to know that life is just oh gosh, my gardeners have started, so this is really the end.
Good. Okay, good.
Sorry about that. But anyway, yes, so hopefully you're going to edit this part out. Well,
probably not.
Probably not. That's okay too. I don't mind. So yeah, I would love to hear from you. I do, just complimentary discovery calls. Anybody just wants to have a chat, please reach out to me at Adey-Jones.com. So
Great. Thank you, Del.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.